Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how I made this bag of money cake. Okay, so if this is your first time on my channel, welcome, and where have you been? And if this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So today I'm going to show you guys how I made this cake, and I used a vanilla cake and a red velvet cake. Yes, I had 3 layers of vanilla and 2 layers of red velvet. So, okay, what you can hear in the background is a movie. I'm kind of watching a movie and still doing a voiceover at the same time. Okay. So thank you for coming back to my channel though. So guys, the most important thing in making a cake like this, whether it's a bag of money or whatever it is you're making, the most important thing before carving is to make sure when you stack up your cake, before you start to use a knife to cut out any part, make sure you put it in the freezer for at least 1 hour, or put it in the fridge for maybe 3, 4, 5 hours. That way it firms up everything and it helps it stay in place. So when you're carving, the layers of your cake the layers won't be moving around and stuff, if that makes sense. So right now what I want to do is basically carve the shape of a bag. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the amazing thing with that, because it's just like a sack of money. It's not like a defined shape. A regular sack of money takes the shape of whatever it is that's inside, if that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so you just want to make it have like the regular, like if there's something in a sack and you put it on the table, the bottom will be kind of flat but a little curved at the edges, and then the top will like taper up to like a handle, kind of, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so guys, that's what I'm doing right now, and my cake is chilled, so it is easy to carve. So if you want to, I have a video for how to carve for beginners, how to like carve a cake, and I'm going to put the link right up here so you can see how to do that. And it is very easy. Like, I gave you guys step by steps on how to carve a cake for any shape you want to make whatsoever. So if you notice what I'm doing right now, I'm cutting the bottom and I'm making it like curved towards the middle, like to form like the bottom of a bag. Basically, you know, the bottom of a bag is not like just flat on the table, just as if you were putting a plate on the table. Like, the bottom tapers to the middle. That's what I'm trying to do right now. So I'm using a knife, my serrated knife, and I'm trimming the bottom, and I want it to look really nice and trimmed and rounded, kind of. I don't want it to have edges or anything, so that's what I'm going to do. So I think for the top it's still a little too fat, so I'm going to trim a little off of that from the top so it can be seamless. And when I put my ganache on it, because we're going to cover this cake in ganache, so when I put my ganache on it, it's going to cover seamlessly and there'll be no lumps or bumps or anything. Yes, so that's what we're gonna do. And then the next thing you want to do is clean up your cake board, so that like your ganache doesn't like stick to the cake and make everything messy for you. Okay, so if you want my ganache recipe, my white chocolate ganache, for cakes like this I like to use white chocolate ganache for the base, because it is smooth and like it gets teeth, unlike buttercream, and like it gives you like a defined shape where you can smoothen on and your cake will look really nice and like without bumps and keloids. I'm sorry, I'm used to saying bumps and keloids. I can't say bumps without keloids. Anyways, so right now I'm covering it in my white chocolate ganache. If you want my white chocolate ganache recipe, I'm going to put the link right up here. It says click on me. Yes, click on that. Okay, so that's the first coating of white chocolate, and the reason why this is so easy right now is because your cake is firm. So when you trim or when you're coating with white chocolate, it is staying in place. It is not like moving around. Yeah, you can also use dark chocolate ganache if you want, and you can as well use buttercream if you like that. Anything would work basically, but I'm sending this cake out of the city, so I wanted it to like be firm and to have like a really strong base, so and it wouldn't melt or anything. So now I'm taking my fondant and I'm going to show you guys how to cover it. This cake, I'm not going to be covering it the regular way I cover my cakes. I'm going to be covering it in the paneling method, like we're going to panel the fondant around it. So I've seen a lot of people say like you should roll fondant in one direction, you should maybe not take it forward and backward and stuff. Basically, see, there are no rules to this thing. Roll it however it's convenient for you. Like, just make sure when you finish rolling, you're going to use your smoother on top of it to clean up whatever like lines there are on the cake. So right now I'm going to show you guys how to do the paneling method. Like, I only do this for like maybe irregular cakes. My regular round cakes, I use like from the top to bottom method. So this paneling method is what we're going to use today, because it gives you a better finish. than the regular method I use. So I want you to I want you guys to notice what I'm going to do and how I'm going to lift it. This one I'm putting some starch on it right now so that when I roll it on my rolling pin, it wouldn't stick. And that way you can't just pick it up, because if you pick it up it will stretch and you don't want that. So what you have to do is put some cornstarch on it so it doesn't stick. You guys can hear my movie. Okay, and then roll the fondant around your rolling pin, and then you're going to lift that rolling pin and apply on your cake. That's all. It is really easy. And make sure you start from the back of the cake. Note where you want the back of your cake to be, and then start from there so that the seam would be behind your cake, if that makes sense. See how easy this was. When you're doing this method, please do not be tempted to like lift it with your hands, because it doesn't work like that. It will literally frustrate you because it will be breaking, and that's not what you want. So lift it with your rolling pin just like I did. And if you don't know how to do that, watch it severally so you can like get a hang of what I did and stuff. So right now we are going to smooth it, and I'm going to show you guys how to form a seam at the back. The annoying part to this method is there is always a seam, because there's a part where you cut off the excess at the back would show. And what you want to do is you want to make it as neat as possible. That's the trick. Make it as neat as possible so it doesn't look too ridiculous, or like your work just looks good in front, if that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm going to smooth it, and I'm going to take a knife and cut where the first seam meets the second seam. That way like you have like a smooth finish, and then we're going to use our smoothner to like smoothen that up and down as best as we can. Yes, you can still see the seams, but it's not going to be as obvious, if that makes sense. And you have to remember it is behind your cake, so that makes it better. So that's why you have to make sure like you know which part you want the front of your cake to be and which part you want the back to be. So now we're going to cut out the excess fondant from the bottom and from the sides, and then we are going to smoothen. At this point, like if your cake is not too smooth, it doesn't really make any sense, because it doesn't even like really make any difference, because it is a sack. Sacks are not very smooth, if you get what I mean. Can you guys hear my movie? I'm watching what am I watching? Oh, I'm watching this movie on Netflix about a girl. It's about Bovie and when he was trying to marry a girl. I don't know, a very materialistic girl or something. Anyway, I don't like the way they portray some women in these kind of movies as if like I don't know. Anyways, let's leave that alone. Okay, so right now I'm trying to form the top of the cake that will look like the top part where like the sack of money. Yeah, and that's the easiest part. The amazing thing with this cake is that it doesn't have a particular shape. It depends on the shape you give it. That's why I like this kind of cakes, because like you can make it, you can be creative with it. You can make it bend to one side, you can make it bend to the back, or it depends on you. Basically, it depends on what it is for you. So because it is a sack stays the way you put it. It doesn't have a particular shape. So right now I already made like rolled out some fondant, and I made my dollar sign in front of it, and we're going to paint that in gold in a few minutes. And then right now I'm trying to make the rope for tying the cake sack, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And when you're making this kind of rope, it's important that like you make it like the same size and as smooth and as like symmetrical as possible, and then we're going to twist it around themselves. That way it makes it easy. And you have to be careful when you twist it so that like you don't stretch it out, because you don't want to do that. Otherwise a part will be thin and another part will be thick. I don't know, maybe I'm blabbing, but let's explain to you guys so you guys can get what I'm saying, and so it can be easy for you. One of the problems I had on YouTube when I first started was the fact that usually when I'm watching and as a beginner, I don't know what the person is doing. I can just see it, and it will like make my life easier if they actually explain what they are doing. That's why I do explanations for you guys. Okay, so if you notice, I use some fondant to hold that thing in place so like it can hold the shape, especially the mouth. Don't worry, you're not going to be able to see that middle when we're done, because we're going to cover it in some edible dollar notes. So for this particular cake, I had finished making the cake before I realized that I didn't have as many dollar notes at home as I thought I did. So I had to like look for a way so it will like look good and stuff. So right now I'm using some water to glue the rope of the sack together and to make it like stay in one place. So now this is all she wrote basically. So now we're going to like just make sure that rope stays in place, and then we're going to arrange some dollars on top of it, and then we're going to paint it in gold. Like, it is ridiculously easy. And when you want to arrange edible sugar paper on cake, make sure when you're gluing, you're not gluing with water, you're gluing with edible glue, because it easily gets sticky and starts to like become transparent or something. So that's what we're going to do. I wish I had more edible dollars for this though, but I didn't realize on time, and like the cake was almost due, so I just had to make do and arrange it as best as I could. Okay. So now, after arranging, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to paint in gold. And I like to use my edible gold dust that I buy from my vendor. It is really amazing. If you're in Ukraine and you want to know where you can get that from, you can send me a message in the comment section below. So now we're going to paint, and what I like to paint is with some edible gold and some vodka. The reason why I use vodka is because it evaporates fast and it doesn't like it doesn't get sticky, if that makes sense. Yes. So some people use oil. Oil actually shines better and it looks really pretty, but the thing is, it doesn't dry. If something should touch it, it will lift off the color, and you don't want it to switch away. By you're packing a cake and like if the packet of the cake even touched it, and then all of a sudden the color is off, so you don't want that. So I took my time and I painted every part. I painted the ropes, I painted the dollars, and now I'm painting the inscription on it, and that's all she wrote. Like, these cakes are pretty easy, like especially cakes that you have to carve that do not have a defined shape. It's you that gives it a shape, so it makes it easy for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I wasn't just blabbing on and on and on. Thank you guys. I know you can hear my voice. I kind of have kata and it feels weird. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like this video. Please click on like. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye guys.